Welcome. You with the Nasty Pastor, and I'm back with another chapter read from the Fall of America. Hey, I can't, say it enough, but it's a wonderful book to read. It's a very enlightening tool, you know, given to the black community. You feel for real, for real. You got what I'm saying if you really understand what I'm saying. And all praise, you know what I mean? All praise to the minister Elijah Muhammad for even stepping out there. You know, the way I see, the way I view it, the way I process it, it's a tool. You get what I'm saying? It's a tool to understand who's doing what. And right here in Richmond, Virginia, as I said, I only see Muslims. You get me? Muslims doing these things. You get me? Some of them play the puppet master. Some of them go out there and put their hands in it. You feel what I'm saying? So I thank you. I salute you. Once again, I thank you. I salute you. And we are in chapter 28. And the title is, excuse me. Come on. Yeah, the title is Modern America as Merciless as Ancient Nineveh. Nineveh. Now we talked about it in the last read that Nineveh can be looked at as the city of Babylon. It has some similarities to it, you know what I mean? And I broke some things down because we started this read, and like I said, it's probably a read that I could get through in one read. But when you get into this, you know what I mean, and you got to process it, come on, man, it took me somewhere else. But, this part two, and let's go on and get into this. America was founded and built with blood and established by inequity. She killed, let's back that up. Let's look up the word inequity for those of you that don't get it. I know you get what it means. It was built on blood. I know you get that. You get me? Inequity. Inequity definition. Immoral or grossly unfair behavior, a den of inequity. These historical inequities are now under fresh scrutiny. So you get what that means. Stuff that was immorally happened. You understand what I'm saying? Low wages. You get what I'm saying? Unsafe work environments. It was a lot going on in America that, things had to be put in place. The things that happened during the building of America produced OSHA. You know what I'm saying? OSHA is a regulation, quality control platform outlet for these businesses. You feel what I'm saying? So there were things that was done that had to be put in place. You know what I mean? So let's go and dive back into this. She killed the Aboriginal inhabitants, which is the Indians. You get what I'm saying? To establish herself as an independent people at the great loss of lives of the original owners. Her great progress has been made by the work of inequity. She has robbed many people, and the blood of her slaves, the so-called Negroes, has stained the earth here and elsewhere, stained by her hands. The lawless people kill their own leaders and assassinate their rulers. Anyone who opens his mouth for justice for the poor, prey, so-called Negro, is seized, prosecuted, and in many cases slain because he dared open his mouth for the oppressed against the oppressors. Now think about what the minister just said. You got what I'm saying? If you back it up and you get it right here, the lawless people kill their own leaders and assassinate their rulers. How could he put this in his book after they killed Malcolm X? How could you? How could you? How could you? Now I say this to you once again, you know what I mean? There are powers that be where that the minister might not have knew. You get what I'm saying? The minister might not have been privileged to that information. That information was kept secret, but somebody in the Islam nation of America, in America, knew what was going on. You get me? Knew what was going on. In other words, it was sanctioned. It was allowed. And it had to be allowed through the Nation of Islam. Woe to America. She has established a government with blood. The murderers seek to kill the innocent all the day long. Regardless of the people's choice of a ruler, if chosen, he should be obeyed and given a chance to serve the people until that people dispossesses him for another. It is very evil, very shameful, and savage in these enlightened days of education and science for America to be charged with killing her rulers and great men of wisdom and science without due process of law. There is no justice for us, the so-called Negroes, in a government whose citizens are free to kill them to satisfy and then turn upon their rulers and slay them. What chance have we under the rule of such people? We live under the very shadow of death all the day long. The assassinated President Abraham Lincoln by John W. Booth in Washington, D.C., April 14, 1865, who died April 15, 1865, was successful in freeing our parents from servitude, slavery. Thank you. I thank the minister for pointing that out. I really thank the minister for being true to the fact of what Abraham Lincoln was doing. And that's my favorite president. Yeah, that's my favorite. Out of all of them. You get what I'm saying? Out of all of them, even Trump. You get what I'm saying? That's my favorite. Because, see, that was a white man that gave a care about black people. You get me? Gave a care about black people. Died to free us. Died, went against his own culture to free us. So don't tell me there ain't good white people in this world. You can't tell me it ain't. I don't care what their game was, but you can't tell me there ain't white people in this world that don't see it the way I see it, the way you see it. To weaken the slave master's strength against the federal government. For this he paid with his life. President James A. Garfield assassinated by Charles J. Gateau, July the 2nd, 1881 in Washington, D.C. and died September the 19th, 1881. President William McKinley shot September the 6th, 1901, Buffalo, New York, by Leon Zegasi and died September the 14th, 1901. Let me pause for a minute because, see, we got two assassinations in D.C. And D.C. in the 1800s, D.C. was the height of the world. That was the Mecca of America. You understand what I'm saying? Two assassinations presented right there in D.C. where we have the White House, where we have Congress, where we speak and pass policy. Now you have a third one that died in New York. So at the time of 1901, New York, you get me? New York was the Mecca of the United States. And an example need to be made there. Now let's get into another one. You have Buffalo, New York. You know, once again, we got what? No, that's the same one. Buffalo, New York. And then we have this one right here. President John F. Kennedy assassinated November the 22nd, 1963 in Dallas, Texas. Now you're gonna tell me in 1963 Texas wasn't at its height? You're gonna tell me Texas wasn't at its height? Why you think Kennedy was going that way? Why you think an example was made in Texas? Come on now. Come on now. Come on. By the accused assassin Lee Harvey Oswald and died minutes later. All four of these presidents was known to have spoken and acted sympathetically towards the so-called Negroes, and they paid with their lives for doing so. There are Now let me say this to you. Let me say this to you. Let me back this up a minute because I still got some time. I got about 6 more minutes left. Let me say this. When you think about DC, you get what I'm saying? You think about Richmond, Virginia. This was the slave port. You get it? This was the port that slaves came through. Okay, when you think about Buffalo, New York, we just gonna say New York at the time. Where did most of the free slaves ran to? Up north. So example had to be made to the slaves, right? To the black people, right? Alright, now let's get to Texas. You're gonna tell me black people went on the rise in Texas in 1963. You're gonna tell me. And what Kennedy was doing, fighting for black people. Let's roll. There are others who had attempts made upon their lives, like Mr. Hewitt P. Long, U.S. Senator of Louisiana. Louisiana was shot September the 18th, 1935 in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, by Dr. Carl A. Wise and died September the 19th, 1935. Mr. Long preached shared the wealth, and for this he paid with his life. There is no justice for the poor, the so-called Negroes in America, as long as they are subjects under the American flag. A great attempt is now being made on the poor lost found, so-called Negroes, to deceive them by making false friendship and the passage of civil rights bills and forcing themselves to accept the lost found so-called Negroes into their social inequity. This is only a trap for us to accept it. Will make us enemies of God and our black people of Africa and Asia, who are our true friends. Now come on, Asia, where the Jews from? Where the Jews origin from? Asia. Let's keep moving. It will be totally ignorant on our part to be swept away to our doom by accepting these maelstrom promises of social equity temptations. Our ignorant masses cannot be trusted under the charms, temptation of unalike, but in the end, you will regret your actions. My point of pointing out about the Jews, about Asia, you're not going to tell me that Minister Elijah Muhammad did not know Fard Muhammad was a Jew. Come on now, let's roll so I can get out this chapter. If America wants to offer us a better side of her, why not offer something of permanent good, such as a portion of the country, a few states, for our ever-increasing population? Will the white man fool himself in continuously making promises to us that he knows he cannot fulfill? He has his own problems of unemployment, with the ever-increasing unemployment of his own kind fleeing from Asia and Africa, plus the loss of foreign trade. Can we hope for him to care for us and our children forever? No. We need a place on this earth that we can call our own and go to work and produce our own needs. And this will provide us with employment for our unemployed. Let no man deceive you Let no man deceive you. We are face to face with a change of worlds. People, this all right. I'm going to go over this, you know what I mean? This probably be a 20-minute read. You feel what I'm saying? Because I'm going to tell you something like this, you know. I spoke a while back and I asked you, out of all these celebrities with all these millions of dollars that adds up to billions of dollars that probably go into the trillions, why don't we have a black corporation? Why don't we? Why? Why don't we? And now I'm going to get back to, you know, this stuff about Asia. You got what I'm saying? This is how I feel. You feel what I'm saying? This is how I really feel. How could this black man, this black African man, this man, trust a Jew after knowing what was done in Africa, what was done in ancient Kemet, what was done in ancient Egypt? How could you? How could you? That lets me know the minister Elijah Muhammad really didn't know his culture, really didn't know his history. You understand me? Yeah, I'm going to wink at you, and I'm going to wink at you again. You understand me? I'm not going to say it makes him ignorant. That ain't what I'm going to say, because what he went under, the denomination he went under, did pull the black community up. But at the height of pulling the black community up, why did you allow them to pull the black community down? Look, you've been with the national pastor, right? I love you. I'm telling you, I love you. You get me? I really do. I'm out.